Severals Hospital near Colchester is one of about 150 psychiatric hospitals in the country, hospitals that try to meet the needs of the mentally sick, not merely with treatment, but with practical help for living an ordinary life in the community. One of the psychiatric units at Severals Hospital has made something of a breakthrough in what is called mental aftercare.
One of the biggest difficulties which we have to cope with in this work is the patients who've recovered but who have nowhere to go to. Often, of course, it was the social isolation and rejection that first led to their breakdown and coming into hospital. The longer people stay in hospital, the bigger the problem gets, because homes get sold up and jobs are filled. Families get used to living without grandma or granddad and find that their return poses enormous problems. Above all, there's the deadening effect of institutional life on the personality and initiative. We have about 1,400 patients here, most of them been here for some years. Many receive no visitors at all, no letters, have no contact with life outside. How many could be returned to normal life, we just don't know, but certainly a great many could, if society was willing to have them back. Here in Ivy Villa, for example, there's a group of women who've been looking after themselves for years with virtually no help from the nurses, free to come and go as they wish. A few months ago, the social worker on my unit, Mrs. Joyce Beach, suggested that we should rent an ordinary house for some of them to live in.
So here to Brightlingsea came 5 ladies, all of whom had been living institutional lives, 2 of them for over 30 years. How have they been faring during the past few weeks, living once more in the world we accept as everyday? Mrs. Porter, how long have you been at Severals Hospital?
32 years. 19 years on the staff.
How long have you been down here at this house in Brightlingsea?
6 weeks last Friday, or was it 7?
What do you think of the idea?
Very nice. We're quite happy down here.
Are you?
Yes.
Who does all the cooking here?
I do.
You do?
Yes.
What are you having for lunch today?
Stew.
Do you do the washing up? Do you take turns to do the washing up?
We take turns to the washing up and the other chores.
How do you get on with your next door neighbours?
Very well, thank you. She's a lovely woman.
Would you rather stay here or would you rather go back to Severals?
Oh, I'd rather stay here.
Would you?
Thank you, yes, I would.
Mrs. Davison, how long were you in hospital?
3 years.
3 years?
Yes.
How do you find living in a house with 5 other ladies?
Well, I think it's very nice. It's quite a change.
Would you rather go back to Severals or would you rather stay here?
No, I'd rather stay here.
Mrs. Carter, how long were you in Severals Hospital?
30 years. A very long time, isn't it?
It was a long time, yes.
Very long time. It seemed endless, and I thought I should never leave.
How do you feel now that you have left?
Well, I think I feel much better. It's easier. It's a relaxation.
Yes.
And you feel that you're, well, in a home, at home. To a large extent. It's not like being in one's home exactly, but own home, but it's
Yes.
a great step towards that.
Ms. Brown, how long were you in hospital?
16.5 years.
16, yes. Do you enjoy being here with the other ladies?
Yes, it's quite a change, yes.
Did you know them when you were in hospital?
Yes, I met Mrs. Carter several years ago in another ward.
Do you go out into the shops?
Yes, we go shopping every morning.
Does it worry you to going out meeting people?
No, not now. I thought rather strange at first going outside from the grounds.
But it doesn't worry you at all now?
No, not now, no.
How long were you at Severals Hospital?
4 months.
So you're very much a newcomer now.
Very much.
Yes. Can I talk to you about the financial arrangements? Where does your money come from?
From our pension and supplementary.
Don't you get any financial aid from the hospital?
No, sir.
Or from the Brightlingsea Borough Council?
No, sir.
So you're entirely independent, are you?
Absolutely.
Well, then how do you work out the financial arrangements for each person?
Each person gives their own donation, and I deduct from that the household expenses, the rent, the coal, and the electricity, and they all pay their own way.
How have the neighbours reacted to this unusual project taking place on their doorsteps? Mrs. Brooks, who lives next door, has decided views about this.
Yes, I certainly have. They're very charming and delightful people. Very quiet and orderly. We never hear anything of them at evening times. During the day we chat over the fence.
And what of the many hundreds of other men and women at several hospitals and hospitals up and down the country who remain there simply because they've got nowhere else to go? Discharge to the lonely bed sitter is not the answer. It leads all too often to despair and suicide. Homes for the elderly are filled to overflowing and waiting lists are endless. And after all, it is independence that most of us prize almost above anything else. Most people who leave hospitals have families and friends who care. For the rest, this experiment which is being pioneered at Viking Sea may be part of the answer.